Hi everyone, welcome back. So issue 41, Warhammer Imperium. This is gonna be slightly different because I did record a video. Unfortunately, for some reason, I just no idea what happened to it, but it wouldn't let me edit it in any way, shape, or form, and I couldn't airdrop it over to the iPad for editing. So I ended up having to delete it, much to my disgust. So unfortunately, we're going to start off with the magazine, and then we're going to have to talk about the plastic after I've done the build video for it. So, but the plastic sprues you get obviously 2 sprues. There is my Chronomancer in its constituent parts, ready for me to put it together, and then we'll look at it. But the sprues themselves came from 2020, and you do get a choice of heads, etc. with it, and a choice of arms and staves. Right, let's have a look. So, issue 41, we have obviously the Chronomancer info here. Goes in your black section, section C, HQ 074 Necrons. Battle record for them. We then have Death Guard in the factions, red section. Your how to build, and as you can see, the sprues are obviously called out here. So there are a few little complicated bits, and I did break a piece getting it off the sprue, which I'll talk about when I do the build. How to paint. So fairly standard with these guys now. You're starting off with the Rune Lord brass, then you're having a Cryptek armor shade gloss over the top, then you're adding in your Abaddon black, and then your lead belcher, and then some corn red, Reichland flesh shade, Nuln oil, Corax white, and some other bits. Your Astro granite from your texture pot that you got a couple of issues ago, and your final gallery. So your Chronomancer as a character, so green data sheet 07, he has an 8-inch move, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, wounds 4, 1 attack, leadership 10, and a 4-up save. He also has dual attack weapons, so they both do shooting and melee, and you can either have an Aeon stave or an entropic lance. I might go for the stave because I like the little ball on top, it looks cool. The Chronomancer can be equipped with either an Aeon stave or Eon stave or the entropic lance. Both of these weapons have 2 different profiles on the Chronomancer's data sheet. When shooting at an enemy unit, refer to the weapon profile for shooting listed next to it. When making melee attacks, refer to the weapon profile with melee listed next to it. And then we have a brief tutorial on Chronometron. Advanced rules actions, advanced 06, tutorial actions, and markers, psychic actions, and performing actions, Necron commands protocol. We then have initiate mission. So this is our first initiate mission pack, Alectia. Now this is the new battle zone which the Adeptus Sororitas are going to be joining us in. So we finished with our Admech now. We're moving on to the Murder Nuns. Right, Alectia is the second moon of the gas giant Gilantha. Here in the midst of rolling mountain ranges, perched on atop the spire of the subterranean hive city Alectia Prime, stands a basilica of Saint Marcius. Necron invaders have descended upon the shrine moon, determined to slaughter the impudent humans and eliminate all trace of their primitive religion. So there you go. Initiate mission rules, muster armies, read mission briefing, etc. So your fairly standard store. We've got Initiate 02, which is restore power. The situation on Alectia is dire indeed. The remaining battle sisters of the Order of Our Martyred Lady are fractured, split between crumbling remains of the Basilica of St. Marcius and the war-torn streets of the Hive City, the Necrons have managed to sever the plasma networks that power the Basilica's gun batteries and shield generators. Only with the assistance of a Space Marine strike team can power be restored and inevitable defeat be reversed. So Necrons, Chronomancer. So we're using the Chronomancer in this one. Seal their fate. The Chronomancer foresees a Necron victory. His attacks on Imperial infrastructure have drawn the Space Marines into his trap. With the flayed ones gathered at his side, the Necron Cryptek aims to destroy the Ultramarines' strike team before they can reach their objective and reactivate the power network. Space Marines, Primaris Lieutenant. Activate the generator. The Battle Sisters Defender and Electia Prime surface are without power, leaving them vulnerable to aerial assault. The Space Marines must venture into the Hive City's lightless depths and reactivate the primary power network, feeding the Basilica's guns. Deadly threats lurk in the darkness, awaiting their arrival. So, here we go. Battlefield setup. We're using the dark grey battlefield. We're using our pipe set and the two ruins, sector ruins sets. It looks like we're deploying in opposite corners. Mission briefing: the generator network must remain online if the Imperium is to hold off the Necron invasion and summon reinforces. Forces in play are our Necron Chronomancer, 10 Necron warriors, 5 flayed ones, Primaris Lieutenant, a Librarian, and 5 Assault Intercessors. So there you go. And we get our Canoness in the next video. So what would normally happen now is I would talk about the plastic, but obviously I cocked up the video somehow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the build section for the Chronomancer and then record looking at the miniature, which I'll insert next. Not that you needed to know that, but there you go. Anyway, join me in a second. Right, now that I've built our Chronomancer, let's just have a look at the plastic. He's really great. I'm loving the tentacles for his legs, substitutes for his legs. I'm loving the fact that he's got lots of these little cubes in his headpiece, and it looks like he's taken this one from there to play with, Necron Rubik's cubes. The sprue is a 2020 sprue. What options do you get? Well, you get a alternative staff. You do get alternative heads with different chins. And you do get an alternative arm with a fully closed up cube rather than the partly open one here. So those are your options. I think he's great. I do love this particular sculpt. And I went for I decided that I would just do it as per the magazine. It's nice crisp moulding. The detail on it is quite nice. We've got some obviously Necron runes on the headpiece here and coming down on the shoulders. The tentacles look great, fantastic, and obviously the detail on the box, on these boxes as they open up, again is also fantastic. So yeah, lovely little model. Let's get our Chronomancer built. So I'm going to go with the build that is shown in the magazine, and it's saying our first port of call is to join these two pieces together. So like thus. So those two bits, and then we're having this very elaborate headpiece. Okay, so this is interesting. It's not keyed, but it is obviously shaped to only fit a certain way. So the glue points are just here and here. Like thus. And let's put some glue on the underside there and some on the underside there. Right, so we are also going to pop the spine in. That goes in place like thus. Yeah, there may be a little bit of movement on that. And then we have a loose tendril which goes on here. So, get that in the position like thus. So that's what we've got so far. Do have choice of heads, but I'm going to put the head in now rather than later. It's saying do the head last, but I want to do it now whilst there's still a little bit of flexibility lining up the spine, because there's a socket on the head that lines up with a cable that comes out the top of the spine. So I want to get that done whilst I've still got a little bit of movement as I'm waiting for the glue to go off on the spine. So that's that. Right, now you do get a choice of staves. So you get this one, which is pretty cool. But this one, which is the one that holds the orb. So what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to glue the orb in place first. Or rather, the bottom half of the orb in place first, like thus. And then hopefully that will make it easier, she said. To glue that in place like so. So there's the stave with the orb. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue my Chronomancer to the base now. There's a reason for this. That reason is it's going to make it easier when gluing the stave in place. So there we have our Chronomancer, and the stave is Okay, so you need to get this right because it's a bit convoluted. So I think that is the right angle. So this piece here, I don't know if you can just see, don't know if you can see where that's joining. It actually works through leverage. So the stave comes down, you've got a bit of the tentacle here which is wrapped around the stave, that joins in there, but it then needs to go through and be placed in front of this tentacle just here. Okay, and that lines up perfectly. And then you can drop the glue in place. Like so. So that's how that goes together, like that. Okay. Now, we then have the opposite arm. And I do just need to clip out 2 panels for the orb. So 13 and 12. So I'm going to just cut these out. 1, 2. So this is 12, and I've deliberately not cut them out until I've needed them so that they don't get mixed up. So 12 and 13. Like thus. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Now, the hand there's a finger which needs to adjoin, so I'm going to do that. Like so, and then that is the cube on the arm. Then what I'm going to do is attach it to the elbow and upper arm. Now this is actually quite a precarious join. So you're probably going to need to watch how you deal with this when you come to painting. If you're using too vigorous brush strokes when you're doing your base painting, putting your base coat on, you may end up just taking the arm off at the elbow, which may cause some problems. And then the last 2 little bits I'm going to pop on are 12 and 13. So 13, by the looks of it, goes on the outside. And then 12 goes on the inside. And that's it. There you go. There you go. That is your Chronomancer built. Fairly straightforward, not a lot of pieces. Probably the most difficult part is making sure that you get the stave wrapped around properly so as it stays in place, and then you can glue it. That's probably your biggest bit. Right.